Hey and welcome, I'm Hammy, and in this video we'll be going over Marvel Rivals' latest edition, Emma Frost, the White Queen of Marvel Comics. Although she may be new to Marvel Rivals players, Frost has been in the Marvel world for over 40 years now, having a massive variety of comics and arcs, and has huge depth to her character. So here's a rapid fire ride through her entire comic history spanning over 40 years, time codes in the description below and sections are there if you want to skip around. Emma Frost, the White Queen, is one of Marvel's most enigmatic and powerful mutants. She's been a villain, a teacher, a revolutionary, lover, and much, much more. From a fraught childhood through the shadows of the Hellfire Club to the political heart of the mutant nation of Krakoa, few characters have experienced such transformation, reinvention, and survived it all with flawless style. Emma Grace Frost was born into privilege, the second of 4 children in a wealthy but emotionally abusive family. Though brilliant and beautiful, she was dismissed by her father and bullied by her peers. Her telepathic powers manifested during this period, and she used them to uncover secrets, control her reality, and eventually escape. After rejecting both the advances of Charles Xavier to join his school and her father's offer to be his heir, Frost survived being placed in a mental institution, worked minimum wage jobs, and then finally ended up at the Hellfire Club, an exclusive society of the world's richest and most influential people. Snapping against one of the most important members of the club at the time, Sebastian Shaw, Frost was offered a promotion by him and an opportunity to help rid the club of those who were trying to do mutants harm. Following Shaw's rise in the ranks when he became Black King, Emma was given the title of White Queen and took her seat in the inner circle and the most powerful people in the organisation. Frost's first Marvel appearance was in Uncanny Xmen 129, 1979 to 1980, where she tried to recruit one Kitty Pryde and captured several X-Men, including Storm. She was cool, commanding, and dangerous, so instantly iconic. As a powerful telepath in Uncanny X-Men, she led the club's inner circle in a plan to capture Jean Grey, then hosting the Phoenix Force and attempt to brainwash her to serve their ends. Despite her cold reputation, Frost always had a genuine gift for teaching. She founded the Massachusetts Academy in a response to the Hellfire Club's need for different kinds of protection, where she mentored a group of mutant teens called the Hellions, rivals to Xavier's New Mutants. Her mentorship was strict and intense, but genuine. She offered the team protection, education, and a place where they could thrive, albeit under her own morally grey influence. Then came tragedy. In Uncanny X-Men 281, 1991, the time-travelling villain Trevor Fitzroy sent Sentinels to kill members of the Hellfire Club, and in the attack, most of Emma's students were slaughtered. She survived, but fell into a coma, haunted by psychic echoes of her students' deaths. This event shattered Emma emotionally and morally. It was the first time we saw her stripped of power, not by an enemy, but by grief. No longer a one-dimensional villain, she was now a woman driven by loss, someone who cared deeply but struggled to show it in the right way. When she awoke, Emma had changed. In the run of Generation X in 1994, she joined Sean Cassidy, also known as Banshee, to co-run a new school for young mutants. This was no longer the villainous Hellfire Club, it was a second chance for Frost. Together, the two led Generation X, training young mutants like Jubilee, Synch, Husk, and M. Emma's methods were tough, but she protected her students fiercely, providing shelter, again purpose and mentorship, a complete reversal from her Hellfire days. Students saw Emma's tough love approach firsthand. She was fiercely protective, sometimes harsh and never soft, but she loved them. Still, the past crept in. Emma's sister Adrienne returned to torment her and was responsible for the death of Synch. Emma, pushed to the edge, killed her in secret. The school eventually, however, found out and was closed, and Emma once again stood alone. Her journey in Generation X showed that redemption isn't clean or easy for any Marvel hero or villain, and that even at her best, Emma walked the line between hero and anti-hero very frequently. In New X-Men 114 to 16 in 2001, Emma taught in Genosha, a mutant haven. When Sentinels attacked there, killing 16 million mutants, she survived by manifesting a secondary mutation, her body turning into her organic diamond iconic look, nearly indestructible, but devoid of emotion. As she emerged from the rubble cradling a student's corpse, the transformation had saved her life and became a symbol of who she was, unbreakable, beautiful, and emotionally impenetrable. With her iconic feeling and quote of, "I saw children cut into wafer-thin slices," this marked a huge turning point for Frost. No longer tied to the Hellfire Club, after surviving this genocide, she joined the Xmen, first reluctantly, then becoming an essential part of the team and organisation. Becoming a teacher once more at Xavier's school, there she mentored the Stepford Cuckoos, 5 telepathic girls genetically cloned from Emma herself, although Frost wouldn't actually know this for some time. While working with Xavier and the X-Men, Emma's work wasn't just that of a teacher, her telepathic abilities were also used sometimes in therapy, and indeed she helped Scott Summers' Cyclops in this way to start with, offering telepathic counselling initially due to a gap growing between Jean Grey and Scott Summers. What began as therapy grew into emotional intimacy, and the Cuckoos, still annoyed and angry at Frost due to the death of one of their sisters in a heroic act, revealed this to Grey. When Jean discovered the two on the astral plane, she dragged Emma into a psychic duel, revealing Emma's suppressed pain, longing and guilt, and forcing her to relive her deepest regrets, including the deaths of the Hellions and her own emotional isolation. As further fallout for the death of Sophie, one of the Cuckoo sisters, Emma was shattered literally when Esme, another of the Cuckoo sisters, turned her diamond form into pieces with a diamond bullet. But Jean, embracing her Phoenix powers, actually chose to resurrect Emma. Eventually, Jean died again, and Emma and Scott became official after a time. Together, they co-led the X-Men during turbulent years, including the aftermath of M-Day, mutant registration, and relocating to San Francisco. Emma thrived as a leader, pragmatic, polished, and unflinching. In Avengers vs. X-Men 2012, the Cosmic Phoenix Force returned. Emma became one of the Phoenix Five, blessed with its power, or cursed, depending on how you look at it, alongside Cyclops, Colossus, Magic, and Namor. The powers of the Phoenix Force enhanced Emma's powers to godlike levels. She began eliminating threats before they happened, executing people for their thoughts and manipulating minds across continents. Her love for Scott turned possessive, and the line between protector and tyrant in Frost's behaviour blurred. Eventually, Cyclops took her share of the Phoenix, betraying her and leading to the death of Charles Xavier. The fallout left Emma depowered and emotionally wrecked. She later orchestrated a war against the Inhumans, turning to old tools like Sentinels to avenge Scott's death. It was a regression, but one that reminded everyone: Emma Frost can't be boxed into a moral binary. From the 2019 Powers of X arc, Emma was asked to join Krakoa's Quiet Council as the White Queen, overseeing diplomacy and trade through the Hellfire Trading Company which she founded. She also helped orchestrate the Hellfire Gala, where mutants rebranded themselves and announced themselves to the world as a political and powerful force. Elegant, powerful, and politically ruthless when needed, Emma is a far cry from the Hellfire pawn when she first started in that organisation. Now she runs the game. Operating above and below the table, she brokers peace deals, tracks threats like Moira X, and maintains her own influence, as well as getting revenge on some people from her past, like Sebastian Shaw. If you'd like a little bit more about the recent history of the Hellfire Gala and Krakoa, then you can check my different videos linked here. Jumping forward to recent days, in Invincible Iron Man in 2023 and X-Men 26, Emma actually marries Tony Stark, as referenced by the Marvel Rivals voice lines that we've listened to in my other video. It's not a love story per se to start with, it's a strategic move during the fall of X to protect mutant kind, gain access to Stark's infrastructure, and form a new power block. But beneath the chessboard mechanics in the story, sparks do fly. The two share a sharp wit, a love of control, and a desire to protect their people, with Emma's infamous quote of, "This is a merger, darling, not a fairy tale." Although the marriage was annulled after the threat of Phylong was pushed away for now, the two seem to show genuine sadness at this, with neither perhaps entirely ruling out them getting together again one day. As a quick roundup, we have seen Emma Frost in various TV and movie media, often in very different interpretations of her character. In Generation X, a 1996 TV movie, we saw Finola Hughes play a British calm Emma as a teacher-type role in the Massachusetts Academy. It was kind of low budget, and this predated the original X-Men films that many of us remember. In Wolverine and the X-Men of 2009, voiced by Carrie Walgren, Emma is smart, loyal, and slowly earns the team's trust, only to secretly sacrifice herself to save Jean Grey from the Phoenix. Fast forward to X-Men First Class in 2011, and January Jones plays a 1960s Emma, where she is Shaw's lieutenant, icy, seductive, and showcasing her diamond form and that side of her character. The Marvel anime of X-Men in 2011 had Emma playing a key role, suspected of betrayal but ultimately being an ally. Leaning into her teacher and protector kind of persona, this is a more sympathetic arc for Frost, including her bond with Armor, emphasising her telepathy skills and her massive guilt that she carries with her from her past sins. Coming up to The Gifted from 2017 to 2019, and this features the Frost sisters, so very clearly inspired by the Stepford Cuckoo sisters that we've been talking about. Emma herself doesn't appear, but her legacy is felt in their shared telepathy and very much their aesthetic. Across all versions, the core remains. Fierce, intelligent, a very commanding presence, and whether it's by character, personality, speech or otherwise, certainly commands presence and attention when she walks into a room. There's a quick history of the key points of the story and lore of Emma Frost. She is certainly a diamond, unbreakable, sharp, and certainly dazzling. From being a villain to being a hero, teacher to a strategist, she has certainly evolved as a character. She is by no means perfect and very morally ambiguous at the best of times, however, she never pretends to be anything but, and that's what many people enjoy about her character and her arcs throughout the Marvel Universe. Throughout all of the lives that Frost has lived, her strength lies not just in her formidable powers with telepathy that rivals Charles Xavier's, but in her refusal to be defined by anybody else's narrative. She's made mistakes, burned bridges, and built empires, and through it all, Frost remains the White Queen. Dangerous, dazzling, and undeniably unforgettable. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you like this video, please do throw a subscribe and let me know in the comments what you enjoy about Frost's character, what you loved about Marvel, any comic series and storylines that I haven't been able to include in here for time. And if you'd like me to talk about the lore of other Marvel characters or comics or characters in Marvel Rivals in this way, do let me know in the comments below. And check out all of my other Marvel Rivals lore, interactions and voice lines videos here, as well as my exploration of lore and worlds from other video games and media in the playlists here. Cheers for tuning in. I've been Hammy. Take it easy.